Hey guys, welcome to Dow Jones Futures Review. I want to go over some moves that we saw happen earlier this week as well as one today. Some straightforward setups, doesn't get much better than that, and we're going to go over them really quickly here. As usual, white lines are major lines, orange lines are minor. They're updated based on previous price action. These levels are actually more for the action we've had this week now. So they're not necessarily as important right now. They're gonna get updated today for Thursday and Friday, but we're gonna go back to Tuesday and see how the setup occurred in the afternoon as well as another one in the evening. We started selling Tuesday morning. There was some clear lows here. These two lows from Friday would have been a great setup for a failed breakdown. And then beyond that, this clear low at Friday 6:30 morning of 5044.2 would have been a great and clear low. We traveled from that area all the way up here for almost 80 points. So that's definitely a great low once we lost it. So we came back and lost that at 2 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon. What happened was we triggered it and then we actually lost that newly established low before going back up. You can see the trigger here. So let's go into a 1 minute chart. I want to show you guys how this setup played out and how you would have entered and why the stop loss getting hit would not have been a reason to leave this trade. Bear with me here. It's always wonderful trying to figure out where the heck I am on this thing. Never gets easier, but we survive. Okay, so we lost the low. The low was going to be 44.2. We lost it officially. We hit it at 1:30 p.m. and bounced. At that point, the trigger was right here. It happened to be this minor level, 5048.2, 4 points above that clear low from last week. We hit it and bounced. That was my signal to pay attention. If we had pushed through this trigger and held, it could have been a possible long, but we never pushed through. We only hit it. You can see that obviously, but we did hit it, sold, and came back to it, which to me is the acceptance. But ideally, I'd want to see it lose the low. Doesn't always happen, but it's definitely something that helps out when we're entering a trade. And then later on at 157, we actually lost it. Then we lost it again. So now we've clearly lost it. I'm waiting for a level to hold and go back up to the trigger. We had already had acceptance here. So I was good to see if we can get up there and stay above for a few minutes. You can see we closed above the trigger at 214, stayed above a few minutes. So then I entered right around here at 220, understanding that my target would have been at least about 4 points. So I'd probably aim to see if this high earlier from Tuesday could get hit right here. So that would give me about 4 points before I could take off some position. What we ended up doing was we got the trigger and then we kind of just like sat around before we lost it. We lost the stop loss, would have been below the lowest low, but we lost it, came right back up. We tried losing it again. At this point, I'm using this as a newer stop loss. We held and we took off. So that was clearly a great setup there. That did get invalidated for a second, but not enough for us to get off the trade. Be patient, wait a minute or two. Generally, if your setup was good and there's no extra news on the in the finance universe, then usually you should be okay. Just be patient. And that worked out great. We went right up to this level and hit that level. You can see we had been working on this level Tuesday morning, 1, 2, 3 hits. We came back to that level Tuesday late afternoon and then sold. So this is my acceptance. You can see going to that level, selling, and then coming back up. Tuesday night we came back up and then we pushed up above and we stayed above. At that point, one could go long if they choose. And if I speed up this, you're going to see what happened. We sat around it for the rest of the evening for a little bit before eventually, as I go to a 15-minute chart, took off. Come on, there it is. And we hit the next level up. So that was a great way to start this week after Memorial Day weekend yesterday. Now let's go back to the fresh charts and see what we got today. So today is Wednesday. This morning we sold down. We lost this little low right here. You can see we clearly made this clear low at Wednesday 12:15 a.m. And that went for about 25 points, good enough for me. We lost it this morning at 8, so at this point I'm looking for this to recover. Since we did not lose this by at least 8 points, I'm looking to recover this by 4 points. That makes the trigger 59.5. That's my trigger. Now let's go to let's cut off all this crap right here since we don't need it, and let's go to the brunt of what we're looking for. Let's go to a 1 minute chart and see how this played out. So the low we were looking to lose was 55.5. So we lost that around 8 o'clock this morning. So at that point now, I'm obviously aware that we lost the low. I'm looking for a signal of acceptance and then trigger. So you can see we lost the low, hit it from below, then sold again. That was good actually. That was nice little signal and acceptance, going back to the low and selling. So now at this point there is some type of acceptance if one wanted to just go long clearly on this push through. It's not a bad risk. It's just not how I trade. I trade with specific parameters. I'm not going to share all of them here, but they've been acquired through almost 7 years of studying now. Regardless of all that, the trigger up here is at 50.95.5. We got up there, sold a little bit, and then pushed through. If someone wants to be a little riskier, again, they can just enter on that too, because they saw you hit it, slow down, and started pushing up. Stop loss will be right here, so about 9 points, not that bad. However, I like to wait for a few minutes of acceptance above the trigger before entering, and then I try to go as close to the entry trigger as possible so that my risk reward is better. So here we closed above the entry finally around 8:20. We held for a few minutes. I still didn't love this choppy action, to be honest, but I did enter still just because of the amount of volume we were seeing, a little bit, not much otherwise these days, especially on a holiday week. And then that, boom, went right back to this level again for second touch. I took off some profits, and that was that. Fairly easy trading day for that, honestly. It doesn't get much better than that. And at that point, we pretty much came back down. One more time this morning, offered a second entry, and then we took off. The runner did the rest of the work, and we came up and we hit this clear level of interest. This is where we sold from, so the back test obviously occurred and we sold back down. This level is highly important now, 50.66. You can see multiple holds. Now we're just consolidating kind of sideways up, a little bit of a no man's land. The first setup I would see is pretty much this cluster of lows getting undercut, maybe touching as low as this minor level before overtaking these again for a liquidity sweep. The next setup will be losing both, if not, one of these lows, if not both. That'd be a great failed breakdown. And then the best setup would be if we could lose this Tuesday low down to this level over here before going back up and then back testing this area. So just want to go over those few setups. Have a great day. I'll be back with more.